la única constante en la vida es el cambio. Y si habéis leído mi libro, vosotros sabéis que la vida es para vivirla, para perseguir y para buscar los límites. Fuera de tu zona de confort. Es tiempo para un nuevo reto. No me jodas, macho. No tenemos audio.
There we go. Countdown is done. I didn't realize it was going to say that there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Star Citizen Live. We're back after CitizenCon. We're here on our only constant spaceship, in case some of you folks thought that was just built exclusively for CitizenCon. It was actually in place long before CitizenCon. We just figured we would just save it and debut it at the 10th anniversary. But now, this is the new forever home for Star Citizen Live and Inside Star Citizen, and maybe a few other things in the coming years that we're not quite ready to talk about. CitizenCon. That was the last big news. In case you missed it, or you've been hiding under a rock, or maybe you were at TwitchCon. On October 8th, we had our CitizenCon 2952. Which emanated from here at The Only Constant, where we showcased all kinds of stuff like resource management and the new underground facilities and the new...
Está simplemente hablando de la Only Constant, que es la única constante, que es la plataforma que se han montado, el estudio que se han montado para grabar y tal, que está basado en una construcción Phoenix, para quien no lo sepa, y está hablando también... Está hablando también de lo que hubo en la CitizenCon y todo eso, que lo podéis mirar en Twitch o YouTube.
Up on YouTube now. 4K processing times in YouTube are a thing, especially when one conversation is 2 hours and 17 minutes long and the other full show is like 5.5 hours long. You can upload that and it just sits there processing for days and days. And then it goes poof, you're ready. So, what is it? Hashtag free Jared. What is that about? I am free. I'm on a spaceship. I'm on a spaceship. Look at my spaceship. We got some special guests joining us on our spaceship. We've got, let me push the button here, John Crew and Ben Curtis. How you doing, guys?
Hello.
Welcome back to the spaceship.
Yeah.
You were some of the first to see it.
It's been a long time since I first saw it.
When did we film CitizenCon? That was the end of August?
End of August.
Yeah. End of August was when we were filming your stuff, yeah. So this is your first time back?
A little less stressful rather than being sat like on your own under the spotlights this time. So.
Yeah. With 20 people staring at you. Just.
We've left the Pyro system and we're now parked at beautiful New Babbage. At CitizenCon, you had a couple different presentations. John, you were responsible as part of the vehicle team for a couple presentations. But I want to start first talking about the new vehicles that debuted. The first one was the Spirit from Crusader. You've now had a chance to get that out there and get it out in front of people. What's the reception been like?
It's been pretty good. I think everyone's been super excited about it. A lot of confusion over the stats, and like hold my hands up, we made a mess of that. There was one of those beautiful storms of so many things that in isolation going wrong would have been caught, but because lots of things happened all at once, they slipped through. But I think we've got them all sorted now, that it's all correct on the website. So I enjoyed.
Está hablando un poquito de las cagadas que hubo del tema de publicar la información de la Spirit, que ahora pues debería estar todo bien puesto en la web.
There was someone who put a post of like, this just doesn't fit this size, and I'm like, I'm sure we fixed all of this in concept. This is like the first thing we do is make sure things are the size we need them to be, and clearly something had gone wrong.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, why another bomber? There are some members of the community out there who get very involved in the discussion about bombers and bombing and stuff like that. So we're adding another bomber right now.
Adding more fuel to the fire. Just
why?
like with a lot of Star Citizen things, we want to not just give you one choice. Like if you like bombers, you have the Hercules, and whilst that will have its other bomb option in the future, there was like a huge range on there, and we wanted to put something in the middle there. And when we were coming up with a Spirit, we knew we wanted to do variants at that time, and like doing the base cargo one and a VIP one were a shoe-in. I was like, what's an interesting third one? And there were a few things that we could have gone with, but with the Hercules A2 in the lineup, it was like, well, let's put something in the middle of it.
Kind of fits the brand, and
Yeah.
I think, like I say, it's not all jobs need a sledgehammer. So some of them need something a little bit more finessed.
Now that said, we're having a little fun with the bombing discourse, but really though, I mean, like most systems in Star Citizen, bombing is not in its final stage. Like the bombing that's in the
Están comentando de por qué sacar la bombardera, por qué sacar la versión Speed de bombardera. Y dice, bueno, pues porque para añadir más salseo al juego y porque en Star Citizen queremos dar alternativas a la hora de las diferentes, bueno, pues los diferentes estilos de juego que hay que se pueden jugar. Y pues a la hora de verlo, pues teníamos la 2 y parecía razonable el meter la 1, ¿no? Siguiendo esa línea, esa corriente, para tener algo de una escala diferente.
Counter specifically to bombers, but a counter to threats coming in to attack ground locations. And it sort of does okay at its job in some aspects. There's other things like the bombs themselves do actually have minimum arm distances and minimum safe ranges before they're supposed to activate to prevent some of the problems that are out there. And we were looking into it recently and found that technically it's one of these very programmery things that it does work. However, in reality, it doesn't work the way you think it works. Like there's a minimum safe radius for the bomb to arm, which is something like 50 meters. And that means if you've got a Hercules that's 49 meters off the ground, you drop it, hits the ground, doesn't go off. Great. The Hercules then flies 2 meters higher. The bomb then goes off. So there's lots of fun things like that we're working through.
Claro, están comentando de que las mecánicas de bombardeo todavía no están terminadas, y especialmente sobre todo la de los objetivos que pueden adquirir, que falta bastante juego en ese aspecto. Y también están comentando de cosas de las que están trabajando, como por ejemplo el hecho de que si tú estás a 50 metros del suelo, que tenga una especie de seguro la nave y que no pueda soltar la bomba. Bueno, porque si hacéis eso, pues explota.
Into the game and affect the knock-ons that they have for each existing system are somewhat predictable and sometimes not predictable. So it's important to continue providing.
Al final hay que entender que una bomba de este estilo pues tiene un radio de 2 kilómetros, ¿no? de acción.
So then the last Spirit was
o sea, de explosión, ¿no?
The VIP stuff like this. I just want to touch on one thing, because VIP transport isn't really in the game at this point. How does the Mixmaster work?
Let's get Tony on the phone, and he
Tony, how does the Mixmaster
he will
work?
talk about it.
But no, I assume is there something you can tell us about VIP transport? Is it on a roadmap somewhere? Is it coming? Is it?
It is. There is a design for it, but it is not in like the purview of any of the teams that myself or Ben look after. So it wouldn't be correct of me to sort of tell those teams when it's coming.
Besides the Spirit, we also introduced the straight to drivable, the Grey Cat STV.
Steve.
The Grey Cat Steve.
Yeah, we need
Official
to change that.
Grey Cat Steve.
Yeah.
I saw people trying to make the Grey Cat Pete or work for the PTV.
Yeah, it's the UTV that starts to fall off.
Yeah.
But,
Didn't quite.
yeah.
Just let Steve be Steve. How's the reaction been to this thing? We happy with it so far? We happy with what people are out there doing?
To be honest, the reaction was really, really good for it.
Estaban comentando un poquito sobre el tema de la E1 y preguntándoles sobre el transporte de pasajeros, el transporte VIP. en qué estado está de desarrollo, dice que no le corresponde a él comentarlo y que de momento pues no es algo que esté... O sea, que puedo hablar de los tiempos. En resumidas cuentas, que no es algo que esté en una vista cercana, parece ser, ¿no?
Speed changes and everything that came out around the same time. It's like this. We're going to say this a lot. Are these still in flux? Or is this the last ground speed changes we're going to see here?
There will be more, as I mentioned in the interstitials, which I don't think they made the cut into the YouTube uploads. So unless you watch the full,
you have to watch the full show.
You have to watch the full show. To try and not redo it again in full. There is a new tyre handling and vehicle handling model coming, and we had redone the ground vehicles for that. But because of the way time works, and 318 didn't come out on the Evocati before 317.3 came, we had to very quickly at the last minute put an approximation of those speeds in the old model, just to sort of get the ball running, because if we had saved it, that same change would have just happened very close after, and everyone loves to think that we nerf ground vehicles immediately after they're released, and that's not the case. Like we balance them based on how they're performing.
Is it though?
I'm kind of sensing like a bit of a theme here, because like that happened, and then this spirit, and there was a lot of confusion over the spirit that kind of took the heat off of. You just like slowly, always got to put something in.
Don't ascribe motive and intent to things that just.
Están comentando también sobre el tema de los vehículos, del nuevo sistema de físicas que van a tener los vehículos, de cómo funcionan las ruedas, que es algo en lo que están trabajando, pero por cuestiones de cómo funciona el tiempo, y, o sea, los tiempos de entrega de los parches, el retraso de la 318 y demás, pues parece que han tenido que hacer el cambio simplemente de ajustar las velocidades ahora. Y supongo pues que es algo que espero que veamos más adelante. O sea, entiendo que igual vemos, por lo que está diciendo John Crew, que igual vemos algo de esto en la 318. Sería interesante ver.
Mid to high tier.
Mid to high
tier.
Civilian
Mining vehicle.
Yeah.
Mining vehicle. And there was the vote. I haven't actually seen it. Do we know who won the vote?
RSI won. I think it was about 44%.
Wait, why are you shaking your head, Ben? Why are you shaking your head at RSI?
Because it should have been Argo.
Why should it have been Argo?
All Ben's old accounts did not.
Everyone likes Argo ships.
Does Ben like Argo ships?
I like Argo ships.
Ben likes Argo ships?
Yeah, they're orange.
Ben likes orange.
So now you've got to begin the process of designing a new mid to high mining vehicle in the RS.
Bueno, por lo que están comentando sobre el tema de las votaciones del vehículo de RSI de minería, que sabéis que hubo una votación para saber cuál era el vehículo, cuál era la marca que iba a hacer ese vehículo de minería que pudiera albergar un ROC o un ROC TS a bordo, y que tuviese pues además capacidades mineras, como tiene pues una Prospector, una Mole, ya veremos cómo es. Parece que eso todavía no va a ser el vehículo de la IAE. En concepto tiene pinta, porque entiendo que a estas alturas están hablando de que tienen que ponerse a ello. O sea, entonces entiendo que todavía no está, y no va a ser una de las sorpresas de la IAE.
Some of the issues we've had with making sure things are correctly documented from the start.
And we haven't had an RSI a ship in a while. I think the last one was maybe the Apollo. Somebody's going to be like, that's not the last ship. But it's Scorpius. Okay.
Yeah, but for me, I've only worked on the little RSI stuff, none of the big stuff. So it's going to be good fun.
Where do you start? So say he's got the brief done, and now it comes to you. Where do you start?
Like really early is we'll just get the layout is what we need to work on first, and really that's the stuff that kind of like sets the foundation of like how big the overall ship's going to be. Because a lot of the time, the design guys will have their wish list of these are the things we want to fit in the ship, but because of our game is the way it is, that needs to physically fit in the ship. And that kind of can dictate a lot of how big the ship's going to be, and how much space we want to assign to the different elements of it. And then once we've kind of got the floor plan down and the rough idea, it then goes into the art style, looking at all of our kind of like library of RSI stuff, looking at the bits that
Lots of struts.
lots of all the struts.
Struts, the
all the
weird
angles,
kind of
all the,
angles.
yeah, lots of nice sharp angles in it. But yeah, just you know, and the thing with all of our stuff is there's a timeline to our game as well as our manufacturers.
Right.
So you know, it might be we've got to decide where it sits on the timeline of RSI itself,
right,
and when its release date is. And
thank you for bringing that up, because one of my big bugaboos, the things that I'm going to go to my camera for this. One of the things that always gets me is this idea that manufacturers can only look a certain way. I mean, you look at Ford. Over the course of 60 years, and Ford has changed dramatically. You look at the Ford Mustang, not just the manufacturer, but a specific model of vehicle, and it has gone through some dramatic changes over 60 years. Our ship manufacturers have been around for 100, 200, 300 years. Yeah. So there's got to be some real division in even within the manufacturers. I mean, is it possible? I mean, don't give me false hope here, Ben, but is it possible we might see an RSI that isn't so angular or doesn't have the struts?
I think it still needs to have its core elements, and angles and struts, RSI, it's fine.
The thing you like.
Están comentando un poquito, bueno, aparte de que está comentando la votación, de que a él le hubiera gustado que fuese Argo a la hora de realizar la nave, a ver, ¿no? Y luego está comentando Discolando que, bueno, que comparado con una marca como por ejemplo Ford, que vemos un Ford Mustang que pues ha ido evolucionando lo que es el diseño con lo largo de los años, que si eso se podría aplicar también a las marcas de naves del juego, porque tienen cientos de años de vida, ¿no? Algunas. Entonces sería la cuestión pues porque estaban describiendo el futuro de lo que podría ser la nave minera, y dicen, bueno, pues esas fórmulas anguladas con, bueno, lo que podemos ver en una Constellation, ¿no? Con esas trazas de líneas en las cabinas y demás.
Then you've got new ages like the Eclipse and the Sabre.
Yeah. And then you see it in the real world. Manufacturers take cues from other manufacturers. Remember when that new Mustang came out, and then you saw Dodge, or I think it was like maybe the Dodge Challenger first, that new Challenger, and then you started seeing all of these cars all adopt a very similar shape language, you know, even from other manufacturers.
I love the way your reference points is like Mustangs and Challengers, whereas mine's like Fiestas and Escorts. They're like
Skodas.
Yeah. Well, no, I was a Ford guy, but we've just got different Fords over here.
Okay. And then also at Citizen we talked about master modes.
Yes.
And master modes are the big change to the flight experience that are being developed and tested in Squadron 42. Now, we had originally hoped to have Rich Towler here to talk about that stuff, so we won't be touching too much on it. We'll be sure we have him on the show soon to go into that. But reactions to master modes have been pretty across the spectrum, I would say. I've seen a lot of people that recognize that, oh yeah, this will do it. This is exactly what it is. And then, as always with any big change, there are people that are like, no, I don't see how this will work. You're just going to segment the game. We knew this was going to happen.
Yes, yeah. With the change of this scale, we knew that, like, this reaction was going to happen.
Ya lo primero que están diciendo es que, hablando de los modos maestros, del cambio que va a haber en el vuelo, que lo primero que sabíamos es que iba a haber una parte de la comunidad con rechazo.
There was lots of questions about, hey, is my cargo ship just going to get ganked all the time now, or what happens to racing? And those are all.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, 100% ganked. And we knew those questions would come up. We just didn't have time to expand upon it in that piece. So when Rich and the team get a chance to do it again, like I say, it was supposed to be today, but sickness and holidays fought against us. Yeah. We'll go over what the plans for those are, because it's their pet project that they've been working on for a long time, and it should really be them that gets to explain it in depth.
Now, that said, we got a little bit more time with you before we let you go. Ben, I understand one of the questions that we get.
I feel like I'm in trouble.
Well, it's not necessarily just you.
Okay.
It's for both of you. One of the questions that we get pretty regularly, anytime we have the ship folks on, is what can you tell me about the 600i rework? Is now my time?
Que nos hablen del recuerdo de las 600, comentando con el tema del vuelo, parece que iba a ser hoy, pero por el tema de vacaciones o enfermedades, las personas que iban a hablar hoy de los Master Modes, que parece que no van a estar. Vamos a ver qué pasa.
A lot of empty space and stuff like this, which happens during production. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to Ben here, and I'm saying this right now, and he's just like,
no,
he's like mad dogging me. He's like, no, it was.
I didn't work on the 600. It's fine.
He didn't. But folks have been waiting to hear some stuff about this, and we're going to go ahead. I think maybe we can actually show some stuff. Do you think we can do that?
Yeah.
Well, tell
¿Nos van a enseñar cosas?
Well, where are we at in this process of the 600i?
So I guess at the moment, we've done a kind of high-level concept pass on it. Like I say, we've worked out the floor plans. We've worked out where the space was wasted, and we've kind of massaged a few more.
Dicen que han masajeado la nave y que había muchos espacios vacíos y tal. Y parece que nos van a enseñar algo de las 600.
A concept pass, and it's kind of just waiting for its slot, really. Yeah, and on the ship team, we tend to plan. Ships take a reasonable amount of time to do, and you do little ships, they're a bit quicker. You do big ships, and they are a large investment of time. And really, the 600 is a fairly sizable ship. I know. It is a rework, and it is.
It's not an update.
It's.
Dice que es un rework de la nave, que no es una actualización simplemente, que es un rework. Ojito con las 600.
I think the captain's quarters is staying.
The bridge and the captain's quarters underneath it are.
Yeah, although
Hashtag free Jared. We're going to get to some of the images here right now before we talk through everything. When we do have images clear up, but I do want to add before we get into it that the 600i also came around. It was the first origin ship of that.
O sea, hay cambio en lo que es la cabina y cambio en lo que estaba debajo de la cabina, la zona de la cama.
A lot of that time is spent creating entirely new assets and stuff like that. So it's usually the second ship that comes around benefits a bit more, like the 890 Jump did, and stuff like this. So it's with anything, the more ships we make, the better we get at it.
Yeah, and I think Origin's got a really strong art style. An Origin ship, and I think if you ever get in an Origin ship and you don't know it's an Origin ship, we've just failed. So I think the Origin stuff is instantly recognisable, at least it should be. So that's one of the kind of the luxuries of doing this manufacturer, is the fact that the art style is like really kind of.
So what are we looking at right here? What is this?
So this is the crew quarters. This is like the split deck. So basically you've got. I mean, I don't know how much do we want to talk about it.
We talk about it a little bit. It is worth noting that there will be a segment in a couple of weeks during IAE where we talk a little bit more about the 600i. We're going to go through the layout and stuff like.
Vale, está comentando que en la IAE van a hablar un poquito más. Y además, aparte de hablar de las 600, quizás hablemos de otras naves además. Y dice que lo que nos estaban enseñando son la zona de la tripulación.
Do you want to talk about the overall layout?
Yeah, without spoiling the future thing, just to say layout-wise, currently the 600i, the middle section is the module that changed.
Yeah.
If you mentally think of the entire interior back half changing as the module now with the rework, and the middle section is the shared crew quarters. That's the best way of thinking about it in terms of where you're seeing these images. Like this one here is the back of the touring module now. So you see we've kept the big glass window.
We've tried to stay true to the exterior as much as we possibly can. There is going to be a few subtle changes. It shouldn't grow or shrink or change in any form. So it should be the 600 that everyone. Yeah, you can do that face, you can do it, but it should be the 600 everyone kind of loves already. But there is, we need to improve the dock and collar.
The weapon and turret integration. And
the lifts are changing.
There's
escape pods.
Some extra windows on the top.
So there is some exterior changes, but the majority of it's going to stay as true to its current form as possibly can.
What is this?
This is the.
Dice, hemos hecho algunos cambios, pero la mayoría de las cosas van a tratar de conservar la esencia de lo que es la nave, y han cambiado lo que es todo el tema de los elevadores y demás.
Just to make people extra happy, that cargo lift fits a Nova on there now.
Yeah.
It fits a Nova?
Yep. So like when we say there was a lot of wasted space inside the 600i,
Que le cabe un tanque nova. Ahora. Mirar la cara de Discolando.
Actually, 3 decks in the 600i rework. And the bottom one of the Explorer can hold that.
Le cabe un tanque nova a la 600 ahora.
I just, my first thought is that the Nova is a stylish clash with Origin, and maybe
Origin tank.
we should be doing an Origin tank.
Origin hover tank.
We're going to go back to the images now before I get somebody in trouble. So we got the cargo tank.
Got the cargo lift.
Yeah.
You can kind of see in this, there's actually a few interior lifts as well to allow you to kind of move cargo up through the ship, because there's other areas of the ship that allow us to store cargo as well.
Yeah, the big cargo lift at, I guess, the middle of that.
Claro, dice que hay un montacargas a mano izquierda que vemos ahí, porque dice que hay más zonas de la nave en la que puede haber cargo.
This is in production yet.
Yeah, we haven't started on the 600 production-wise, just to be completely...
Okay, look at the camera and say that. Hold on. There.
This camera?
Right here.
We have not started on the 600i rework yet.
This is just concept.
Just concept.
Just concept. And this was me wondering about an Origin tank. That is not how things get made here. People don't go to like Reddit and be like, they confirmed this. This was literally a random idea that I had in my head right now, and they don't listen to me for anything. Otherwise, we'd have a whole lot. We'd have that jalopy by now. Where's my jalopy, John?
Bringing up the
Where's
jalopy.
my jalopy?
It's not going to happen.
See, they don't listen to me.
Don't talk to them about the
So what is this room?
This is the armory.
Yep. So this is sort of top deck of the Explorer version.
Yeah, and there's, again, decent amount of size, so each crew should have multiple...
Claro, esto estaría hablando de la cubierta superior de la versión de exploración, donde podemos ver la armería. También nos están avisando que el concepto, o sea, esto es un concepto todavía, que todavía no han empezado a trabajar en ella.
Explorer.
Gotcha. What's the executive version? Is that
Solo está en la Explorer esto.
Not decided, and I can never remember which one.
gotcha? Because I mean that could be the executive, and that could be the again
Interior tinting.
just me wondering out loud. Don't.
Yeah, interior tinting isn't isn't doable. As much as I hate it, it's just something we can't do yet. Yeah. So it's one or the other at the moment.
Okay.
That does make a little sad face.
What else we got here? What's this? That looks like a cargo ramp or something.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I think this is the
upstairs, isn't it?
This is the middle deck of the Explorer.
Ah, vale, o sea, no, o sea, lo que es este es el elevador de carga. Este es un montacargas que puede ir arriba y abajo, que está en el medio, no el que vemos a la izquierda, sino que es como un añadido en la parte de delante. Aquí podemos, o sea, de lo que era la habitación esta que vimos con el hangar de carga, que por cierto, hablando del hangar de carga, si le cabe un nuevo tanque, le cabe una Piscis.
Can't tint the
Seguramente que le quepa una Piscis, porque eso sucede en la C2.
We can't paint the interiors.
Just the way we build our ships, those two systems don't work together.
Yeah.
So, thank you for the concern, Scotty Ford, in case anybody was wondering if we're really live. Yes.
Touring time.
Whoa.
Bit of a style change.
That looks like, remember that image of Goss that we used for like every CitizenCon and Gamescom that we did for...
Esto sería la versión de Turing de la nave.
It reminds me of Goss.
When I was picking the images for this one, I gravitated to this one, and then the more I looked at it, I preferred the other color ones we have, because there's...
Was there another color?
There's like a blue and orange one, and some other colors, but think of those light things as
and
RGB lights.
A lot of this as well is, like I say, this is concept. This is kind of like kind of defining the idea. When we get into production, there is still that. Okay, are we happy with where we're at here? Does it actually?
Está comentando John Crew acerca de los colores, de que no tienen por qué ser estos los colores. Pensar eso como una cosa RGB. Y que luego pues está en la fase de producción, que cuando estén en la fase de producción pues le darán los ajustes necesarios.
Tend to press that stuff.
And then this is like a water wall.
Yes, it's a little triangular swimming pool, water feature, and off here you can just about see it in the back there, a sauna and steam room. So taking what we did for the 890, scale it down a little.
You make it sound so easy, John.
Non-uniform scale.
Yeah.
Take it,
Yeah.
scale it down,
That's it.
export, make game.
Claro, esto sería, pues dije, pillar lo que, o sea, lo que hicimos en el 890 y escalarlo hacia abajo y tener una pequeña piscina con un muro de agua.
Concept rework. We'll be looking more at it in a couple weeks during IAE. We'll talk about the layout, and you said it was 3 levels now?
Yeah.
3 levels now and stuff like that. So expect to see more on ISC in a couple weeks. John, Ben, that's it. That's all we got for you. Thank you so much for coming over, hanging out, being here on the first, what we're calling internally ISC 2.0.
Very nice, aren't they?
Do you like the chairs?
I do like the chairs.
Do you like
yeah.
the chairs? They're very comfortable. All right, so we are going to take a short break and play a message from some of our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll have members from our programming team on to discuss what it's like being a programmer and what the heck the difference between a programmer and an engineer is. I don't really know. So stay tuned. It's coming up next.
Are you traveling the stars? Exploring the galaxy? That's lonely, lonely, hungry work. Always remember though, Big Benny's with you. Big Benny always has your back. Big Benny. Eat his food. Rabbit!
What a time to be a citizen! Dumpers Depot's having a galaxy-wide fire sale. Forget about that Olympus Principal Health Insurance when you can get this Basilisk Rampart Shield Jenny for only $25,999. You'll feel so safe you could go for a family vacation in the Pyro system. And who needs jump points when you can get
Esto
these
es de
Waytech
fans del
XL1
Star Citizen,
Quantum
¿eh?
drives for only $49,999. Only at Dumpers Depot. Hell, these deals are so good, the Nine Tails will stop blockading stations and start some honest trading. So get on over to your nearest Dumpers Depot before it's too late.
Here at Kelto, we have one simple goal: to bring you the items you need quickly and easily. We've got everything you need: food, drinks, toys for the little ones, guns for the wife, all inside one store, Kelto. Just walk inside to begin your astronomical savings. Using the latest in Mobi technology and machine learning, we know exactly what you've picked up and have already charged you. Want something hot and ready to go? How about hot dogs, nachos, or burritos? Kelto. We've even got the latest in Gemini ballistic weapons, like the Gemini F55 LMG, featuring an explosive rate of fire that tops over 1,000 rounds per minute. It's the best light machine gun you can get in a convenience store. Looking for something a bit smaller for the kids? We also carry the Gemini LH86 pistol, perfect for those small hands. So come down to Kelto today for quality products at low prices.
And we're back. Those were some of the community and org-related commercials and recruitment videos that were created for last year's CitizenCon, and we want to encourage you to do it again. Basically, we are, as the new Star Citizen Live begins to reformat and grow into the thing that we want it to become, we're going to need little bits like that to stick in there while we do scene changes and set changes and stuff. Plus, we just want to get back to involving as much of the community and community content as we can. This is our 10th year, and while Star Citizen has grown by leaps and bounds in our manner of presentations and stuff, there are some things that go back to the earliest days, or like Wingman's Hangar, where we included community content in our programming, and we want to get back to that. So this is my invite to you to create to make org commercials, advertisements or short form videos about anything in the verse, just narratively driven, anywhere from 45 seconds to, let's say, 90 seconds or maybe even 2 minutes, depending, you know, don't overstay your welcome. We want to try to, you know, bring as many people in as possible. But yeah, and submit them to the Community Hub. And then, you know, we'll be able to see them and other people will be able to vote on them and vote them up. If you didn't know, there's a brand new Community Hub that you can access at the Robert.
Nos está comentando de que podemos subir, o sea, que nos están invitando a crear contenido para llenar estos segmentos de entremedias y que se subirán al Community Hub y bueno, pues a partir de ahí, que los subamos al Community Hub y que a partir de ahí pues los escogerán para mostrar en estos intermedios, ¿no?, que tienen aquí. Que quieren cambiar como, digamos, un poquito el formato de lo que es el Star Citizen Live anterior y meter este tipo de cosas.
So we'll start. You start right there. Who are you?
Hi. Where do I look for this?
You look at me. Just look at me.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Jacob. I'm one of the programmers on EUPU. So I've been doing stuff like loot generation, and I'm currently working on salvage.
You've also worked on like the room system and harvestables.
Yeah. I'm one of the maintainers of those things as well. So yeah.
How long have you been with the company now?
Nearly 2 years now.
2 years, and you've already done harvestables.
Room system, harvestables, loot, salvage. Yeah.
All right. Yarrow, who are you? What do you do?
Well, I'm Yarrow. I'm a bit less than Jacob. I've been doing laser trip mines. I've been doing some of the mining gadget work, actually, after Guillermo worked on it before. And now it's all resource network, so life support and gravity, all that fun stuff. For the last
just fun stuff like life support and gravity.
Yeah.
Just some small fundamental systems that will change life as we know it in the verse.
Just like...
Pues este chaval está trabajando en el soporte de vida y el tema de gravedad, que es así algo a comentar interesante.
And I'm a gameplay programmer here, and yeah, I do a bunch of stuff, mostly mining these days, but I'm also the owner for the resource network feature. And yes, Yarrow said, also worked on stuff like the mining gadgets and harvestables and stuff like that.
Scoot a little bit to your right.
O sea, parece que todos, o sea, al final son 3 programadores, ¿no?, que se dedican pues a trabajar pues en salvage, recolectables, minería y pues el soporte vital, gravedad.
We'll promise you'll get one of the comfy chairs next time. So let's talk about the life of a programmer and start with the simplest thing. What is a programmer? What does a programmer do in video games? Imagine you're at like a picnic or something with your family, and your mom brings her best friend over, and she's like, "Yo, honey, tell Aunt Baru what it is that you do." Like, how do you explain what the heck a programmer does?
Well, trying to explain it to your granny is always a bad idea because they're not going to be interested. Yeah, what we do is basically we turn the designer's ideas into something that will actually work in the engine. Often what we do is we make the tools that then the level and content designers use to create the gameplay.
All right. Yarrow, Guillermo, you want to add to that?
Está comentando qué es lo que hace un programador o sea, en el juego, qué es lo que hace, ¿no?, para el juego, para la compañía. Pues lo que hace es tomar las ideas de las ideas o las creaciones de los artistas y tratar de y transformar eso en cosas usables por los creadores de nivel o de contenido de lo que es el propio juego, ¿no? O sea, buscar la manera de traer las cosas a la vida, las ideas a la vida dentro del juego, ¿no?
So, you mentioned designers, but it's also artists and everything. It's everybody. They come up with these ideas. Hey, we want to do this, or we want to do this. And then it comes to programmers to actually be like, all right, we'll figure out a way to do that. Is that about right?
Often our job is to crush the designer's dreams because they want to do all this, and we tell them, no, you can do only this.
We've literally got a director of design and a director of art sitting behind you right here. They're not mics, so they can't talk back. Is there anything you want to tell them?
Great job.
Stop asking for crazy crap?
No, I mean, I think it's more about adjusting what design is like together with code so that it kind of functions together, so you don't end up making like a specific feature for one tiny thing. If it can be a bit more generic and kind of suit more things, so that we don't do repeat code all the time, because obviously nobody wants to write a lot of code and then it just gets trashed because the new feature, incorporates it.
I know that one of the big topics in 3.18 right now is persistent entity streaming, PES, and so this foundational change to everything in Star Citizen. I know maybe it doesn't necessarily affect design a whole lot, although it does, because things will work differently. And art, they're just, Ben's over there like, PES what? It doesn't affect me at all. But I imagine you guys are on the front lines. Like this is the PES is what really is. It's got to be wrecking havoc with your stuff. And what's this like? Am I wrong? Am I right?
No, you're absolutely right that a lot of the gameplay teams are now having to rethink their code to make it properly compatible with PES. I mean, a lot of it works, but a lot of it needs just some tweaks, some improvements. So yeah, one of the largest tasks on us at the moment is to reevaluate all of our existing systems and make sure that they're up to date with the latest tech.
Está comentando sobre el tema de la relación que tienen ellos con el PES y dice que ahora mismo, si bien hay mucho código que ya funciona con el PES, hay otra buena parte que tiene que ser ajustado, revisitado, repensado para que funcione con el PES, y que pues ahora mismo están reevaluando todos los diferentes sistemas que componen el juego para asegurarse, para que funcione todo con el PES.
Actually, I may have mixed that up. You're doing a lot of work for hull scraping,
Yes.
and is how's that going? Are we there? Is it done? Are you just coasting until 3.18 comes out?
Definitely not. There's still stuff to do, but we're at a really good point at the moment. It's mainly kind of putting the finishing touches on and bug fixing.
And
el tema del hull stripping, de la chatarra, está listo, y dice que definitivamente que no está listo, y que están poniendo los toques finales, y luego pulir bugs, o sea que todavía no está el salvage.
get old stuff from the
Cool.
past.
It's cool. It's just like I feel like possibilities for like resource network and incorporating like different types of distraction. We're also like talking with Guillermo about that. Like there's a lots of gameplay opportunities, and like I feel like that's also to add to what does programmer do. We kind of also come up with ideas and then go to Thorsten like, oh, maybe we should try something new.
Now, when I was walking by your desk, so this was a prototype.
Yeah.
So prototypes get made internally all the time. Calyx had made this one like a year and a half ago, and it was a very robust. It was to repair a vending machine. Is that what it was?
It's like a whole vending machine simulator basically with like lots of parts you could pick apart, and then like some fuses, whatever. But yeah, then you need to translate it into the game with like networking and all that, and that's obviously like way more work on top of that.
And his job was to basically make the most complex vending machine, possible within the game, with smaller subcomponents and everything, just to see how far you can push a prototype. But now what you're doing, and I want to talk about this because this happens to everything here. You're now taking this prototype and you have to see what can work with every other game system that's in the thing, because when you prototype, you get to work alone, independently, in a world all by yourself. You don't have to worry about what other systems you're stepping on and who others work you're ruining and stuff. But now your job as programmers, you have to now then bring this and integrate this into the world. So is that easy? Is that hard? I know it's not easy, but how often do you have to like strip things out? They're like, oh, we'd love to do that, but you can't do that because of this feature, and you can't do that because of this other feature that we have, and stuff like this. What is this like? And Guillermo, you're gonna be able to talk a ton about this. So what do you got?
So usually we have two things. Either the release is pretty close and we cannot really rewrite the game fundamentally to support all the things we would like to do. Or in this case of Research Network, it's actually the opposite. We usually just go to one of the directors and say, hey, this system is not really compatible with what we want to do. And people say, okay, fine, rewrite it. And which is kind of liberating, you're not really held down by usually your own old code. That usually comes to bite me in the ass a lot. But no, actually, you get a lot of freedom to, sit back with everybody who...
Está diciendo en el caso de que tengan que introducir algo al juego, a veces tienen... O sea, se tienen que enfrentar a cosas que luego tienen que echar para atrás o cómo resuelven el hecho de que pues no puedan meter algo en el juego porque la tecnología no lo permite. Dice que bueno, que no tienen un problema, que a la hora de encontrarse en una circunstancia así, que tienen bastante libertad a la hora de poder reescribir o rehacer algo en caso de que sea necesario.
Maybe refinery ships, stuff like that in the future. That's going to be the same system, so good.
Well, that's why it's so important to build these things systemically, so that so that each one feeds into the next one whenever possible, but that systemic nature is also where bugs are bred. Is most of your time? We talked about how a lot of your time is spent creating the things and making the things possible that design and art and ask for you, but how much of your time is going around cleaning up after other people and like, this worked 2 patches ago, what did you do?
A fair bit. We do, every single sprint we have, there's always a section of bugs to fix. Some of them are ones that we caused, some of them aren't, some of them are things that are just kind of a side effect of other things changing. But yeah, we spend plenty of our time bug fixing.
Me parece que cada sprint tienen que hacer corrección de errores, que pasan bastante tiempo corrigiendo errores, sobre todo cuando preguntáis hablando de qué ha pasado con este sistema que ya no funciona, ¿no? Que es algo que tienen que revisitar, parece con frecuencia, y arreglar cosas, ¿no?
Showcase the process of fixing bugs. The challenge was always to find interesting bugs, because most bugs are pretty inane and tedious, and it's like, oh, every third step has a frame stutter or something like this. So we always struggled to find interesting bugs or unique bugs. We also used to do a broadcast called Witch Glitch. Shout out to Tyler Wicken, by the way. Hi. Where we used to, showcase our the more creative or more interesting bugs there. If I ask you now, what were some of the more interesting or creative or maybe just absolute pain in the butt bugs that you've had to deal with in the past?
So
what come to mind?
One definitely stands out. Recently we've had quite a amusing one with the room system, because we found that we were getting some room system crashes when people were doing stuff with the inventory, and that doesn't make any sense. They're completely unrelated. Eventually, after a lot of pain, we figured out that it was to do with helmets. When you drag a helmet out of the inventory and it goes as like a preview on your head, well, a helmet has a room inside, but it's not a real room when it's just the UI preview. It's this, the hologram UI helmet, but the room inside the hologram was still trying to talk to the real room system and going horribly wrong because of that. So yeah, we had
que está comentando que uno de los fallos más jodidos que tuvieron es que trataron de descubrir es a la hora de jugar con el loteo con el sistema de habitaciones es el hecho de que bueno, las rooms pues contienen una serie de propiedades, valores de oxígeno, de calor, de temperatura, ¿no? Entonces, cuando estaban en los vehículos, por lo visto, al quitarse el casco parece ser que tiene un sistema de habitación también pequeñito. Entonces, que al sacarse el casco, pues que producía un crasheo, ¿no? Que tardaron bastante en descubrir esa historia. Porque por lo visto, pues la habitación del casco, ¿no? El espacio del casco que nos mantiene con oxígeno estaba tratando de comunicarse con los otros sistemas de habitaciones en los que estábamos, nave o lo que sea. Y eso petaba.
Punish the players, it didn't. So we were getting some pretty funny situations where ships will start clipping back and forth inside the Starfare.
hopefully you guys are not seeing that so much these days, but it was pretty funny to debug.
Fair enough. What do you got, Yarrow?
I cannot think of any like particular bug.
Can't think of one. One of my favorite classic bugs was way back in like Arena Commander days. I think this predated the PU. Ships like Hornets or whatnot would just explode randomly. And it's sometimes they would explode after 2 minutes of flight, sometimes they would explode after 8 minutes of flight, and it was so hard to try to replicate it. Some people could fly forever and be fine, and it was on a Hornet, if I remember correctly. I reserve the right to be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure it was a Hornet. Maybe John Crew might remember this when I get to it. But eventually what they determined was the old flight suit had a flashlight that hung. Yes, he's not John Crew's nodding in the background right now. The old flight suit had a flashlight that hung on the belt, and because of the physicalized nature of the thing, when you were doing certain moves, hitting certain G's, the flashlight was binging the side of the ship for 1 point of damage, 1 point of damage, 1 point of damage, until eventually the ship exploded. And there was no predicting it. There was no, it was impossible to track because everybody flies different and pulls different moves and stuff like that. So,
claro, está comentando uno de los fallos que tuvo, de los que recuerda Discolando, de que fue pues que lo que está comentando pasaba con la multitool, si no recuerdo mal. La primera vez que metieron la multitool, al sentarte en las naves explotaba, porque empezabas a hacer, por la física de la multitool, empezaba a dar de hostias a la nave por dentro, y entonces hacía 1 tics de 1 de daño. Y pues eso, con eso reventaba la nave básicamente.
Detach itself from the ship, you would suddenly have had a collision 1,000 meters per second, and yeah. I'm really sorry for all the mining players out there.
Look directly into this camera right here. There you go. And apologize to the players.
Sorry.
We need to add a zoom. By the way, for folks who have noticed things like some soft focus issues and everything, we're still working out with the number of cameras and stuff like this. I promise we will. This is our first time filming a live show in the spaceship with this crew and this set. The CitizenCon was a different group, stuff like this. So bear with us while we work out the kinks and whatnot. Hopefully, just like our spaceships, we'll get better the more and more we do about these. So you guys also, this week has been this week and last week, was it this week and last week? I don't know, recently, in the last week or a half, we've started moving into the office. The new Manchester office here at the Goods Yard has opened up. You were some of the very first tenants to come in. Talk to me, what's that experience been like?
It's been pretty great. For me, I was working remote ever since I joined. I hadn't been to the Wilmslow office either, so it's great to get in and finally actually meet everyone.
Oh, that's right, because you were hired in during the pandemic, so you never even went to the Wilmslow office.
I joined during the pandemic and I've been remote the whole time, so yeah, now I get to actually meet everyone and chat and see.
Está preguntándolo sobre, bueno, que parece que esta semana se están ya mudando las oficinas de Manchester, y que claro, que esta persona pues fue contratada durante la pandemia y que todavía no había visto nunca a sus compañeros. Se estaba presentando a todo el mundo estos días y demás, por lo visto. Ha tenido la oportunidad de conocer a todo el mundo, ¿no? A todo el mundo, a sus compañeros de trabajo, claro.
It's weird. Yarrow, Guillermo, you enjoying your time in the new office? What's your favorite thing about the new office so far?
Yeah, I feel like it's way easier to kind of like have those small chats when, you know, I have a bug or something, and like I wouldn't normally write a Teams message because it's like, you know, just whatever thing. But like if Guillermo's sitting right next to me, it's easier to just be like, yeah, okay, what do you think about that? And I feel like it kind of speeds up stuff on some things.
Oh. Yeah, you get a lot of that kind of collaboration, I think now. It's really easy to go. Like
están comentando de que a la
things. I'm sorry for them. But on the other hand, you know, talking to people, just going to them.
Me está diciendo el Guillermo que dice que no le gusta las reuniones, que lo siente por la gente que le gusten, pero porque están hablando de la diferencia de hablar de estar en las cosas positivas que tiene trabajar en la oficina de Manchester. Entre ellas, pues dice la facilidad con la que puedes contactar con un compañero para comentar algo, en vez de tener que enviar un mensaje al equipo, ¿no? A través de un chat. Que es mucho más fluida la comunicación y acelera un poco el proceso.
Gentlemen, that's it. That's your first Star Citizen Live in person. Anyway, we've done the Zoom ones. What do you think? You like it better in person than over Zoom?
Very much. It's
Comfy chair.
It is a comfy chair. Guillermo, again, I promise we'll get you in the comfy chair next time. We'll make somebody else sit behind. So yeah, let's go to this camera here. Thanks for watching, everybody. That's been Star Citizen Live. Don't forget that the Halloween promotion, there's a couple of different Halloween promotions and contests and things going on right now. You can jump into the universe and for your chance to loot a couple cool Halloween-themed spooky helmets and stuff. And then I think there's a number of social media things going online. You can check out the robertspaceindustriescom website for details, or the Star Citizen socials on Twitter, Instagram, and if I'm not mistaken, there's even a TikTok now. I haven't checked it out, but I did get a message just the other day asking me about, pitching me on an idea to participate with the Star Citizen TikTok. And I think I like bad ideas just enough that I might actually do that. So yeah, so we'll see how that pans out. Inside Star Citizen, names, returns next week. We've got a look at the planning stages for the new underground facilities that you saw revealed at CitizenCon. They have moved directly into production, and we're going to be talking to John Griffiths, and he's going to take us through basically a look at how we plan out the scope of work for a new feature or a location. It's a kind of development story we haven't told before, and I'm excited to jump into that. And then our own friend Sylvan from the engine team, he's going to talk all about the Gen 12 improvements that are coming to Star Citizen with Alpha 3.18 and beyond. So that's Inside Star Citizen on Thursday of next week, and then we'll be right back here. Who knows what'll happen? We're still figuring this one out, but rest assured, we'll see if we can't work out some of the focus issues and everything. So for everybody here, we'll do the big thing here. For everybody here at Star Citizen, thank you for watching. And we'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Vale. No dicen nada más. Entiendo que thanks for watching, pero dirá algo más, hará algo más. Sigue dándole.
Jake, what's up?
Vale, es un raid. Va a flipar el hombre, a ver.
1,800 people. What? Yeah, what up? Hey, everybody, welcome in. Thank you, Star Citizen. Hello. Here come all of the fucking follows.
Ya ves. Bueno. Nos estaba comentando y al final... discolando de que vamos a tener el Inside Star Citizen del día 27, que bueno, pues parece que van a ser sobre el tema de los búnkeres que nos han enseñado, los nuevos búnkeres que hemos visto en la CitizenCon, y que el planteamiento es ya o sea, que nos van a enseñar ya porque están en producción. O sea, parece que están en producción, esas salvajadas están en producción. Y hablándonos un poco de la escalabilidad de las características del juego y demás, ¿no? Ya nos comentarán cosas, y además nos van a hablar también de los progresos hechos en el Gen 12 de cara a la 3.18. Es decir, de poder ir a 60 o más FPS, chavales, en principio, en el juego. Hay ganas de verlo. Lo que estoy viendo es que todavía no sabemos, o sea, nos han dicho de que el salvage no está finiquitado, que tienen que darle algunos toques más, y por lo visto, pues de momento lo que es la carga no sabemos nada por ahora, ¿no? Entendemos que todavía va a tardar un ratito y que ahora vendrá lo que es todo el tema de la IAE y demás, que nos van a hablar de naves, nos van a hablar del recuerdo de las 600 también en la IAE. Y que tampoco han nombrado la 3.17.4. Supongo que tendremos más información a medida que nos vayamos acercando a la IAE, que por cierto es el día... Seguramente el sábado 19 o el lunes 21, o sea, puede que sea el viernes 18. O sea, será será esta semana, o sea, el 19 al 5 podría ser. Del 19 al 5. Perfectamente podría ser del 19 al 5 o del 18 al 5. No sé, ya veremos a ver con qué salen, pero vamos, que va a ser por estas fechas. Va a ser por estas fechas probablemente. O sea que estaríamos a golpe de día 21 viernes, el 27 tenemos Inside, el 28 tenemos Star Citizen Live y el día 3 hay mamita. O sea, de entre el 3 al día 10 bueno, sí, entre lo que viene siendo el día 3 y el día 17, 18. O sea, lo que viene siendo entre el día 3 y la IAE, entre estas fechas, espero poder comprar gráfica. Porque aquí en el día 3 sale lo de AMD, o sea, lo de AMD. Y espero que en estas fechas pues pueda comprar gráfica, la verdad. Y dejar solucionado todo, o sea, son bastantes cosas. Son bastantes cosillas, chavales. A ver. El tema de Paul Jones. Después de 9 años, más imágenes de Word, de que puedes imaginar que parece que cambia. Vale. Pero... ¿Decís esta respuesta? ¿Os referís a esta respuesta, chavales? Hombre... ¿Tú no ves tensión aquí, Senna? ¿Tensión o que no lo sabía? Nah, si no hubiera buen rollo no le hubiera puesto nada. Si no hubiera buen rollo no lo hubiera respondido en el chat. Yo creo que no lo sabía. Porque si... O sea, si yo me llevo mal con alguien en Twitter, no le escribo nada. Ni le doy a like ni pollas. ¿Sabes? Sí, o sea, vamos. Yo creo que es... Yo me respondo un poco raro. Porque se ha quedado... Se ha quedado pillado, tío. Responde porque se ha quedado pillado. Mira, además le responde el It's okay, Young Crew. Tú puedes continuar creando tu nuevo orden mundial. Yo creo que si no, no... Es que si no, no estarían hablando así. No, a ver, vamos a ver. Pensemos un momento. Pensemos un momento. O sea, realmente tú siendo un profesional... Siendo un profesional y además... o sea, ¿realmente te vas a meter en... Nah, tío. No te metes en asunto de mierda. O sea, no te compensa nada. O sea, esto no es... Yo creo que John Crew es de salirse siempre con la suya. Y como la sala... Si tengo que opinar, Jen es igual. No sé, yo creo que la chica que... La Sarah McCulloch simplemente pues... tenía ambición y quería más dinero, tío. Y se fue a un trabajo donde le pagaban más. Punto. O sea, es algo respetable. En principio está descentralizado ya, Monkey, porque se supone que la persona, o sea, Ben tiene el mismo peso, o sea, tiene el mismo cargo que John. O sea, comparten cargo. No... Sí. El que está hablando ahora en el Star Citizen Live comparten cargo. ¿Este año cuántas naves han salido? Hostia, Monkey. No, 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 no. Pero aún han salido naves, ¿eh? Lo último que necesita el juego son 30 nuevas naves cada año, no. Lo que necesita el juego es dinero. Entonces tendrán que salir tantas naves como dinero haga falta. Eso así. Por eso digo, Phil, se necesitan sacar tantas naves como dinero necesiten. Si ya con lo que tienen está, no les compensa sacar más naves. O sea, yo además creo que yo prefiero calidad a cantidad. Y las naves que sacan tienen calidad, ¿eh? Zorro dice, yo creo que con 500 millones más servidos. Dinero no les falta, continuar el desarrollo. No, no. Tienen que recaudar unos 30 kilos por mes, Zorro. Si no, están jodidos. La empresa se zampa 30 millones por mes, tío. Mucha peña, ¿eh? Digo, 30 millones por mes, no. Son 30 millones por año. No 30 millones por mes, que estoy yo muy mal. Creo que era o sea, más de 30 millones por año se zampa. Más de 30 millones por año se zampa. Se necesita dinero. Andan por ahí los datos de los gastos, o sea, pero... Sí, no, el dinero lo necesitan, es lo que dice Antares, o sea, el dinero lo necesitan, ¿eh? Aparte, bueno, no solo eso, sino son los equipos que tienen, o sea, que esta peña no te puede... O sea, esta peña no utiliza... O sea, no te utiliza un PC del año pasado, o sea, te tiene que estar siempre actualizada. Los tiempos de trabajo son muy diferentes. Algún colchón tiene que tener, porque si no es un suicidio, pero es evidente que hay mucho que está gastado. O sea, las 3/4 partes del dinero están gastados. Seguro. Seguro porque es que es imposible hacer lo que están haciendo si no se lo gastan. No hay manera. No hay otra manera, ¿no? Sí, claro, las nuevas oficinas, un montón de movidas, o sea... Los rewards tendrán que hacerlos poco a poco, o sea, tendrán que revisar todas las naves, está claro. Las Constellation en algún momento tendrán que venir a ese rework. Porque es que... es que, madre mía, cómo están. En algún momento la Constellation va a tener que sufrir un rework. Claro, que además esta peña también es el tema del seguro médico, todo ese rollo que tienen, ¿no? Porque te ofrecen o sea, te ofrecen seguros médicos y demás, o sea, no es... O sea, tienen un montón de cosas que pagar, o sea... O sea, no es solo el sueldo neto que cobra el empleado, es también los servicios que le ofreces por contratarlo, ¿no? A ver, chicos, vengo ahora un segundo.